And you've done a great job. I'm not giving you a hard time.
Okay, and we are recording. As the board knows, as a result of the ongoing public health emergency related to COVID-19, Executive Order 202.1, as extended, authorizes public boards to meet remotely and take authorized actions without permitting public in-person access to meetings. The public must have the ability to view or listen to the proceedings, and the meetings must be recorded and transcribed. An audio and video recording of today's meeting will be accessible from DASNY's website within 2 days, and proceedings will be transcribed and posted as soon as practicable under the circumstances. For additional information regarding the emergency declaration or the executive order, please see the DASNY website. And with that, I will take a roll of those who are present with us today. We have our Finance Committee Chair, Jerry Romsky, and committee members, Tracy Raleigh, Janice McKinney, Joan Sullivan, and our board chair, Al Carney. And from DASNY staff, we have with us Paul Koopman, our vice president, Caroline Griffin, Ricardo Salomon, Portia Lee is with us on the phone, Kim Ellis. We also have Maria Carrasco, Alex Sardine, Matt Bergen, Diane Folletti, Dave Ostrander, Gerard Klauser, Dina Amodio, Deb Fasser, and myself, Sarah Richards. And with that, Mr. Finance Committee Chair, I will turn it back over to you.
Thanks very much, Sarah. And thanks, Portia, for joining us. I think you have a graduation today, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Or maybe
Tomorrow.
Today,
thank you.
Tomorrow. Okay. Well, thank you, Portia. Anyway, thanks all for joining. First up on the agenda, the adoption of the Finance Committee meeting minutes from the May 4th, I believe, meeting of the Finance Committee. Can I please get a motion from one of the members of the Finance Committee to approve those meeting minutes?
So moved. This is Tracy.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Second, Janice McKinney.
Thank you, Janice. Thank you. I'm all in favor.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. We have 3 financings on today's special meeting calendar. The first up is Iona, I think. I'm doing this portion without
Yep, that's correct, Jerry.
So
Yep,
just
that's
leave
correct.
So I forget who's actually presenting, but
And that's
maybe
Gerard.
it's Gerard. See, got it. All right.
Exactly.
My memory is still good anyway. So please take it away, Gerard. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, and members of the Finance Committee. The transaction summary and report presents a resolution to proceed for fixed and/or variable rate, tax-exempt and/or taxable bonds to be sold in either a negotiated offering or private placement in an amount not to exceed $60 million with maturities not to exceed 31 years on behalf of Iona College. The tax-exempt financing will include the purchase of the Concordia College campus and cost of issuance related to the issuance. The taxable component will include the advanced partial refunding of the outstanding 2012A tax-exempt bonds on July 1, 2022. There is another a 2012B bond issuance, which is outstanding in a smaller amount. Currently, it is not in the market, but if the market warrants, we have room within the 60 million to take those bonds out as well. As far as the financing history, Iona goes back and has issued bonds as far back as 1972 with us. The only bonds currently outstanding are the DASNY 2012A bond and B bonds. The security package is expected to include a pledge of revenues and a mortgage on property if required. The ratings are Moody's Baa2 and S&P is a BBB. Both ratings are stable. The refunding is expected to result in net present value savings estimated at approximately $860,000 or 5.6% of the bonds being refunded. The terms of the refundings will not exceed the term of the bonds being refunded. The refunding will result in level debt service from 2033. dropping their annual debt service from approximately $7 million to $5 million annually.
Wow.
The new money component will purchase Concordia campus, which is conveniently located within 3 miles of Iona College. Iona plans to use the college as a traditional academic facility with the ordinary complement of extracurricular activities such as performing arts, club sports, and varsity athletics. The academic focus on the campus will be on health sciences, particularly the recently launched occupational therapy and nursing programs. Regarding Iona's operations, Iona has a history of positive operating margins, including an operating gain in 2020 of $212,000. A good positive in light of the COVID-19 pandemic and the impact on higher education. FTE enrollment dipped in the fall of 2019 and slightly rebounded in the fall of 2020. The school is aware of the enrollment issue and has hired a VP of enrollment management in order to address the concern. The pandemic fell in the middle of this plan and unfortunately impaired the results. Iona has added $50 million in campus improvements, including an Entrepreneurial Innovation Institute, renovations of the School of Business, and the additions of the health sciences majors in order to increase enrollment. The college reported expendable resources to long-term debt of 1.61 for the fiscal year of 2020, indicating sufficient expendable net assets to cover its outstanding debt. Since 2016, the college has had an average debt service coverage of 3.7 to 1. Staff recommends that the board adopt a resolution to proceed for a bond issue in an amount not to exceed $60 million with a term not to exceed 31 years on behalf of Iona College. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Gerard. Are there any questions or concerns from any of the Finance Committee members or any of the other board members who happen to be on the call?
It's Carney, Mr. Chairman. None here.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Listen, I personally, I think it's it's sort of a saving grace. I mean, Concordia was unfortunate. I remember it was a couple of years ago, right, Gerard? Maybe 2 years or so ago, when it unfortunately started to fail to operate for I think it's some crazy reason. But it's a good thing that we can help keep the facility operating. And Iona is a longstanding client of DASNY, so it's a win-win. So I don't have any other questions, but if anybody does, please feel free to ask now.
Yeah, this is Tracy. I concur.
Go, Tracy.
Yeah, the savings analysis is there, and if I understand, Gerard, it's interest rate market savings is driving
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So it's really an opportunity to help the organization, and I think that financials in the presentation show it's stabilized, and so I think it's a positive, and I have no further concerns.
Thank you, Tracy. I'm hearing no other comments. Can I please get a motion to recommend?
Jerry,
approval of this?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but could I just point one? I just wanted to point one important issue out.
Sure.
It's and that my name's identified, as the author of this. I want to make sure the board understands that Alex Sardine, has recently, come back to DASNY, and he was a significant contributor to this report and the research for Iona. He barely put his bags down and hit the ground running here, and has contributed very significantly. So I just want to make sure it's understood that, he was is very much involved in this transaction.
Thank you very much. It's good to see him working, and he obviously did a very nice job, certainly under your and Portia's expert guidance. So thank you to all. Can I please get a motion to recommend approval at tomorrow's full board?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Or second?
Thank you. There's a second there as well. Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries.
And Alex, it's Al Carney. Let me add my thanks to that of the Finance Committee Chair. It's great to have you back. It's also great to know that you're earning the money that DASNY pays you.
Thank you, Al. It was truly a team effort.
Well, and I'm sure it was, but it's also great to know that you're earning your money. I like that idea. Thank you, Alex. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Al.
Yes, thanks. Okay, next up is LIU, Long Island University, and I believe that's David. Thank
Yes,
you,
it
David.
is. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, everyone. The Finance Committee is being asked to recommend to the full board one or more series of tax exempt and or taxable fixed and or variable rate bonds in an amount not to exceed 85 million with maturities not to exceed 20 years on behalf of Long Island University. Bond proceeds will be used to refund all or a portion of the university's subseries 2006A1, subseries 2006A2, and series 2012 bonds that were all issued by DASNY. The series 2006A bonds were initially issued as variable rate demand bonds and have been reoffered a number of times over the years, first due to a bond insurance downgrade and later due to letter of credit downgrades. Both subseries were most recently privately placed, the series 2006 A1 bonds with Capital One and the A2 bonds with TD Bank. Both these series of bonds are currently in variable rate mode and are subject to mandatory tender on August 1st, 2021. The publicly offered fixed rate 2012 bonds will also be included in the proposed refunding. These bonds are callable on or after September 1st of 2022. The proposed transaction will allow the university to place the 2006 A1, 2006 A2, and 2012 bonds with a single purchaser through final maturity, while also providing savings on the 2012 refunding. The university plans to current refund the 2006 A1 and A2 bonds with tax-exempt variable rate bonds to be privately placed with Capital One. In addition, the university intends to advance refund the Series 2012 bonds with taxable fixed-rate bonds to be privately placed with Capital One. It's expected that Capital One will hold these bonds through final maturity in 2036. Assuming current market conditions, a net present value savings in the range of 1.2 million or 5.4% of the refunded bonds is expected from the refunding of the Series 2012 bonds. The bonds are expected to be secured by a pledge of revenues of the university. The existing debt service reserve fund for the 2012 bonds is expected to be released and used towards the proposed refunding. In addition, the existing mortgages will be released for all bonds to be refunded. Capital One will not require a debt service reserve fund or a mortgage as security for the proposed issuance. Some additional information on the university. LIU is rated Baa2 with a positive outlook and BBB+. As far as enrollment trends, while total headcount is down over a 5-year period, enrollment began to stabilize prior to the pandemic due to programmatic changes implemented by the university. As part of its 2030 strategic plan, LIU has begun to shift from a regional commuter campus to a national teaching and research university. The university has launched several new programs in fields such as health science, artificial intelligence, and sports management. And the programmatic shift has positively impacted demand, with applications exceeding 13,000 annually. The 14,540 applications in fall 2018 was an all-time high for the university. And as a result, management does expect enrollment trends to improve over the next 3 to 5 years as new programs are established to drive additional demand. As far as operations, LIU has posted operating surpluses in each of the last 5 fiscal years. And since fiscal year 2016, operating margins have averaged 23.7 million or 8% annually. Positive operating performance has contributed to capital accumulation and improving liquidity over the last 5 years, and total net assets increased by 176 million over 5 years, reaching 529.3 million as of fiscal year end 2020. And lastly, debt service coverage was 6.1 to 1 for fiscal year 2020, which is well in excess of the 2019 DASNY median of 1.9. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Any questions or concerns from any of the Finance Committee members or any of the other board members who are on the call?
Mr. Chairman, it's Carney. It's a pleasure to have LIU in DASNY's portfolio. They're a terrific client, and it's great to see that in spite of the pandemic, they are demonstrating their ability through careful strategic planning to bounce back. It's good to see that.
I agree with you, Al. I'm guessing that a lot of this is an attempt to sort of deal with some of the COVID issues that have been
Sure.
presented.
Sure.
And it's certainly a great testament to our wonderful team that they can actually bring these financings in this current environment to us. And I'm certainly more than happy to advance it. So I'll ask for a motion to recommend approval at tomorrow's full board meeting, unless anybody else had a comment or a concern.
Yeah.
I'll move approval.
Yep, second here, yep, Tracy.
I didn't get it. Did I get? I just lost that for a second.
You got a motion and you got a second. We're good.
Okay. So therefore, are there any? So everyone's in favor, none opposed. Hearing none, that motion carries. Thank you very much, David. And I believe, David, if I'm correct, you're still up, and you have the NYU offering. So if it is you, David, please take it away. If I missed it, I'm not sure who's taking it away.
I think you're it. I think you got it.
Yep, it's me. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thanks.
The Finance Committee is being asked to recommend to the full board one or more series of tax-exempt and/or taxable fixed and/or variable rate bonds in an amount not to exceed $410 million, with maturities not to exceed 31 years on behalf of New York University. Proceeds from the proposed issuance will be used to finance the cost associated with numerous construction and renovation projects located throughout the NYU system, totaling approximately $344.4 million. Many of these projects have been financed previously by DASNY bond issuances. So some of the larger projects of note include construction of a mixed-use building at 181 Mercer, which will include a modern athletic facility, new classrooms, a performing arts center, and student and faculty housing. That facility is expected to be completed next year. Another one of the more significant projects is improvements to facilities located at the university's Brooklyn campus, which includes 370 J Street and the Tandon School of Engineering. The second component of this financing is a refunding of a portion of the university's Series 2016 A bonds. It's anticipated that the university will refund $50 million of stepped coupon bonds that are maturing on July 1st of 2041. These bonds are callable on or after July 1st of this year. The stepped coupon bonds are currently interest only through 2039, with principal payments in 2040 and 2041. Essentially, the interest rate steps up every 5 years beginning this July. It's expected that the refunding bonds will be issued as fixed rate with principal amortizing over the full 20 years. So assuming current market conditions, a net present value savings in the range of $13.2 million or 26% of the refunded bonds is expected from this refunding. When looking at NYU, the university is rated AA2 from Moody's with a stable outlook and AA- with a stable outlook from S&P. So in accordance with DASNY's financing guidelines, these will be a general unsecured obligation of the university, similar to previous NYU issuances. NYU has experienced positive demand and enrollment trends in recent years. Despite the impact of the pandemic, demand for the university continued to increase and overall enrollment remains stable for fall of 2020. For the fall of 2020, the university received 80,210 applications for full-time freshmen, marking the 13th year in a row of record applications. Total headcount enrollment reached 52,775, which is an increase of 4.4% over 5 years. The university's overall revenue mix is diverse. For fiscal year 2020, 29% of the university's total operating revenues came from net tuition fees. And when looking at the balance sheet, total net assets have increased by over $1.7 billion since 2016, reaching $6.2 billion at fiscal year end 2020, which is mainly the result of fundraising, grant awards, and positive investment returns. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, David. Any questions or concerns from the Finance Committee or any other of the board members who are listening in?
No concerns, Mr. Chairman, none whatsoever. Curious about the stepped up interest rates. Are they determined do market conditions, David, determine what those increases are over time, or are those decisions made now?
So for the step coupon bonds, Al, those rates are set at the time of pricing of the bonds that are going to be refunded. So those rates are already known.
That's
based
what I
on
thought, but I wasn't
5 years.
sure.
Yep.
I wanted to get that in the record. Thank you very much. I think DASNY is, we have an NYU financing regularly every year, at least one, and I am extraordinarily pleased to have NYU in the portfolio, Mr. Chairman. I heartily recommend approval to the full board.
Well, thank you, Al, and I would endorse that view. NYU has been a good client of DASNY for many years. I had one quick question, though, David. I think you mentioned the construction that this is financing, that's all underway already in some stage, right?
Yeah, there's a large number of projects, but the vast majority of them are well underway. The biggest portion of which being 181 Mercer, which is scheduled to be wrapped up next year. But for the most part, they're underway.
Yep. Okay. Thanks very much. Any other questions or concerns?
This is Tracy.
I'm hearing none.
None here. Yep.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I echo the chairman's comments and no concerns. They've answered my question previously on the steps coupon, so thank you.
And they're also a good client on the health front, right? With NYU
Yes.
Langone, another wonderful.
They are the Langone facilities, outstanding.
Absolutely. So it's great to I agree with you, Al, to have this financing before us, and it's strong on the refunding side too. So it really benefits the institution.
Good. And thanks again to Portia and Dave and whoever else from DASNY who helped put that deal together. So can I please get a motion to recommend approval at tomorrow's full board meeting?
So moved, Ms. Tracy?
Thank you. Second, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. So I believe that concludes the matters that are on the Finance Committee agenda, unless I missed something, Portia.
No, you got it all, Jerry.
All good. Okay, thank you.
And I want to, before we adjourn, Mr. Chairman, I know Joan Sullivan is with us today, but won't be able to attend tomorrow. Joan, thank you for being at this meeting. We'll miss you tomorrow, and we'll look forward to seeing you again soon.
Well, thanks, and it was a good meeting today because you did a thorough job explaining everything. Appreciate it, and I agree with it all too. From a community.
Thank you, Joan. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Joan.
Welcome.
We look forward to seeing everyone. Hopefully at the June meeting or so. I know Al and I and Beryl were at the new facilities last the earlier part of this month.
The early May meeting,
and
sure.
You all have a great treat ahead of you to see the new facilities. They're really wonderful. So anyway, without further ado, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Second.
Second, yeah.
Thank you. All in favor, aye. None opposed. That motion carries, and so we'll see everyone tomorrow, 9:30.
9:30.
Right?
I think that's right. Is it 9:30?
Yes, 9:30 tomorrow.
9:30 it is. So thank you, everybody. Stay safe and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
You too.
Mr.
Goodbye.
Chairman, thank you. Great meeting.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, guys.